Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, now where do I even begin with this latest clip that's making its rounds all over social media? You know, we really got to get to the bottom of what's going on here, because we got Democrats making all kinds of claims. Apparently, everything everybody else is saying is mis and disinformation, and they got the facts, but I'm not so sure about that one. It seems it might be the Democrats who are pushing the spin here. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Okay, so a couple days ago, we uncovered a bombshell that supposedly the Palisades Reservoir was nearly empty and supposedly empty before the wildfires entered the area, which has been the explanation thus far as to why the fire hydrants went empty. But well, according to this clip of Adam Schiff during his visit to ABC News, apparently that's not the case.
To your understanding, why did some of those, or so many of those fire hydrants simply run dry? Was there something to do with that 117 million gallon reservoir in the Palisades that was out of operation? What's your understanding? What's your initial read on this?
But my initial understanding is the reservoirs that the Palisades were drawing on, these 3 million gallon reservoirs, were full at the initiation of these fires. But they're intended, frankly, they have the capacity to put out homes at maybe a house, multiple houses, not if the whole town is up in flames, and most particularly not if the winds are so strong that aircraft can't fly. And this was the problem in the very beginning. The winds were hurricane force, up to 100 miles an hour winds. You can't fly in that, and you depend on being able to do water drops to put down those kind of flames. And I have to think there are probably hundreds of towns in California, thousands and thousands across the country that are in equally the same position, that if they had 100-mile-an-hour winds and a lot of dry fuel, they wouldn't have any more water than this community did.
Yep, those are the actual words straight from Adam Schiff's mouth. But I'll tell you, I'm really struggling with this one. You know, sure, that's what the top Democrats are telling us, but they're not exactly the most trustworthy sources, and I think there's a lot of merit to that claim. Meanwhile, we have actual on-the-ground reporting from Austin Jeffs at the Free Press, where he reports that allegedly the reservoir has been empty since February of 2024.
This was supposed to be the water to put out the Palisades fire. This is the Santa Ynez Reservoir. It's the water supply basically for the Palisades. When they first started fighting the Palisades fire, they ran out of water extremely quickly. Wednesday, 3 a.m., they were basically out. And there's been a lot of talk on why this happened. So how long has this reservoir been empty for?
Since February of last year.
And what you saw pictured on screen is the Santa Ynez Reservoir, which some people are suggesting isn't the same one from the Palisades fire, but yes, it is. There's no such thing as the Palisades Reservoir, which is what most people are referring to online. It's the Santa Ynez Reservoir, as pictured here on Google Maps, right next to an indication of the Palisades fire. So reports on the ground are telling us that the reservoir is dry, and it's been dry, supposedly, since February of last year. So who do we believe? It seems like the Democrats share the view that you should only believe things that come out of their mouths, and anything else is disinformation. But I don't know, I prefer to believe my eyes, my ears, I prefer to believe the evidence, and it's looking to me currently like Adam Schiff might be full of it. The reports currently are that the Santa Ynez Reservoir has been empty for quite some time, despite California experiencing record rainfall in the not-so-distant past. So what's the deal here, Adam Schiff? What's the strategy from Democrats? Are we having a real conversation? Are we going to get to the bottom of this and find the truth and expose the truth? Or are Democrats yet again banking on the thinking that people are so dumb that they'll just believe whatever the Democrat on TV says, despite having photo and video evidence to the contrary? Well, it looks like that might be the case. Maybe not so surprising, considering this is the same guy who pretended to be a stand-up politician while selling the Russia collusion hoax for years on end. So maybe, you know, for Adam Schiff lying about a dried-up reservoir to save his Democrat colleagues' behinds, we'll call that probably just another Tuesday for him. I don't know about you guys, but to me it seems like the Democrats are in complete panic mode mode and complete cover-up mode. Everything is disinformation. That's all we're getting from them. Okay, I get it, nice rhetoric, but there doesn't seem to be a single Democrat actually pointing to evidence to the actual contrary of the claim. And this is what has them looking like the kid caught with his hand in the cookie jar. It's not just Adam Schiff and his pathetic little appearance there on ABC News. No, it's also Gavin Newsom, who of course, as we've been reporting, is going to war against all the bad information in his pathetic attempts to control the narrative here. But little Gavin and his little fact-checking crusade, let's just say it's not going so well for him, as he himself is getting fact-checked into oblivion. Fox News reports that Governor Gavin Newsom cut the fire budget by $100 million months before lethal California fires, and Gavin responds, a ridiculous lie. We've doubled the size of our firefighting army, built the world's largest aerial firefighting fleet, and increased the forest management tenfold since taking office. Time to serve these folks the facts. Then, of course, womp womp womp. Readers added context in the community note. The 24-25 California state budget signed into law by Governor Gavin Newsom in June of 2024 reduced funding by $101 million. Despite this, CAL FIRE's wildfire protection budget surged from $1.1 billion in 2014 to $3 billion in 2023, so the budget has increased considerably in the last 10 to 11 years, but year over year going into the next budget, it was in fact defunded $101 million with a budget that was signed into law by Gavin Newsom. And the fire chief, currently taking all the heat in LA, has gone on the record publicly a couple times here confirming that there were budget cuts.
Let me be clear. The $17 million budget cut and the elimination of our civilian positions like our mechanics did and has and will continue to severely impact our ability to repair our apparatus. So with that, we have over 100 fire apparatus out of service. And having these apparatus in the proper amount of mechanics would have helped. And so it did absolutely negatively impact. I want to also be clear that I have, over the last 3 years, been clear that the fire department needs help. We can no longer sustain where we are. We do not have enough firefighters.
Gavin Newsom says he didn't cut the firefighting budget, but if we take a look at this LA Times article, well, it paints quite a different story. They asked the question, did Mayor Karen Bass really cut the fire department budget? The answer gets tricky. When Mayor Karen Bass unveiled her budget plan for 2024-2025, she called for a 2.7% reduction in spending at the Los Angeles Fire Department. Her proposal, unveiled in April, sought $23 million in cuts to the department, with much of it focused on reduced equipment purchases. Yeah, there's no big fact-check win for Gavin Newsom here. No, quite to the contrary. Gavin Newsom's trying to paint this picture as if he and Karen Bass are running a tight ship here, but I'm not seeing that at all. No, rather we're seeing stuff like this instead. Here's an article from Time magazine. Why incarcerated firefighters are battling LA wildfires. Yeah, supposedly pre-COVID, 30% of the California firefighting workforce was made up of incarcerated firefighters, and now post-COVID it's closer to 10 to 15%. And these incarcerated crew members apparently are paid $5 to $10 a day. Yeah, I'll tell you, something is not making sense. We got $5 a day firefighters, billions of dollars being allocated, albeit a little less after this year's budget cuts. You know, Gavin Newsom would describe it as the greatest and best in the world, right? How California is always leading the world in everything, according to him. He's invested the most, and it's the best fire department. We've put the most amount of money in and increased our forest management tenfold. We're doing such a great job. But everything frickin' fell apart. Something is not jiving. Something doesn't check. No, it seems to me like everything else, it all comes down to mismanagement. The water mismanagement and the fire department and government mismanagement. Clearly, the department was ill-equipped and not ready to stop this situation from totally spiraling out of control, and it seems like Democrats are desperate to debunk or distract from that baseline fact here, but I don't think what they're pushing is passing the most basic of BS tests. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.